our dear viewers, and welcome to our show Diet Myths. So today we're going to be talking to you about animal versus plant protein. I'm sure many of you are so used to getting your protein from animal sources, so things like meat, fish, and chicken. But we don't realize that we can also get our protein from plant sources, so things like nuts and vegetables can also give us a decent amount of protein. Today we're going to look at the protein difference between these two sources to really see whether or not you really need to be getting your protein from animal sources. And if you are considering being a vegetarian, or maybe you already are a vegetarian, or you prefer more of the plant sources, then we can maybe discuss further things that you can emphasize in plant foods to make sure you get your protein. Now, as we're discussing protein in the body, it's really important to know that your body is almost made up of 20% protein. So it's really very important that you are getting rich protein sources in your diet. And now protein, unfortunately, is not stored in the body like how fat is. So therefore, you need to be taking in protein every day. You really can't rely on protein that you've taken a week ago to supply you throughout the upcoming days. Your body really uses it as it comes and then gets rid of the rest. And with protein, it's usually digested into something called amino acids. Now with amino acids, it's really important for you to know that there are two types. There are essential ones and non-essential ones. Now the essential ones are the ones your body cannot make on their own. So that means they need to be getting it from your diet or from your food. And they unfortunately only or mostly come from animal protein, which we also refer to as complete protein. So these animal sources of protein usually contain all the essential amino acids you need, and you don't need to, fix them with something else. With plant-based protein, we usually refer to them as incomplete proteins because they don't contain all the 9 essential amino acids. They may contain 3, 4, or maybe 5 out of the 9. Therefore, you don't always get all the essential amino acids you need, and your body ends up lacking. And it's very important for you to have a decent ratio between the essential and the non-essential. Now, the non-essential amino acids, which are found mostly in the plant sources, those your body can make on their own and don't really need from diet. Now, please stay tuned so we can talk some more about plant versus animal proteins. Welcome back, our dear viewers. So let's take a look at animal proteins in depth. Now, I know many of you are probably thinking, I can get my protein from the plant sources. But like we said, plant sources don't contain all 9 essential amino acids like animal-based protein sources. But I know many of us have heard many discrepancies on health issues and animal-based protein. So a lot of people try to cut out red meat to avoid like cholesterol or any heart disease issues. Well, in reality, you can get different sources of animal protein besides the red meat. So you can focus on things like fish and chicken and even low-fat dairy. They will all give you the essential, like the 9 essential amino acids that you technically need for your body. Now, the essential thing about getting animal-based protein, besides getting those 9 amino acids, is that you're also getting other nutrients that you can't get from plant sources. The most important one is probably omega-3. Now, we all know that the greatest source of omega-3 is probably from fatty fish. So that is something that you wouldn't get as much from a plant-based protein.
Over the last century, there have been substantial changes in the agricultural industry that have resulted in many nutritional changes in the average Western diet. Around the year 1910, the agricultural industry underwent a major shift in how they were feeding livestock. Most of the farm animals went from consuming leaf-based substances, or otherwise known as free-range substances, to a more concentrated nutrient. Cattle, which were once mostly fed grass and leaves, were now being fed corn. The industry had its reasons for making those changes, but one particular fatty acid significantly declined in its proper ratio: omega-3 fatty acid. Some estimates have surmised that 95% of the Western population has improper balances of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids. What was once a ratio of 3 to 1 of omega-6s to omega-3s prior to our livestock being fed concentrated nutrients is now an average of 16 to 1 in the Western diet. As a result, omega-3 supplementation has become outrageously popular in recent years through fish oil supplements. Due to the high demand, many companies have introduced fish oil products that are unknowingly poor in quality. These companies who buy fish oil from farm-raised fish have significantly lower quality DHA and EPA molecules of omega-3. Often, you'll find companies producing 250 milligrams to 350 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids in 1,000 milligrams or 1,200 milligrams of fish oil. Unfortunately, most research suggests to regulate omega-3 fatty acids that it take a much higher quality and much higher dosage.
Another very important thing is for people that suffer from anemia. So anybody that has iron deficiency, you really can't get much iron from plant sources. And even the iron that does come from plant sources isn't as rich or bioavailable in your body as the iron found in animal sources. So if you are someone that is potentially anemic or has the tendency to have low iron levels in their blood, considering animal sources of protein is very essential to make sure you're getting enough iron in your diet. Another very important thing is something like vitamin D, which we also get from fish as well as dairy. Now that's only found in animal-based proteins. And the same thing goes with zinc and B12, which are both essential nutrients in your body and you only get from animal-based proteins. So it is very important that you include them. Now stay tuned because we are going to be talking about plant-based proteins and what you should be including in your diet. Welcome back, our dear viewers. So like we said, plant-based protein is also an excellent source of protein. Now, it doesn't have the nutrient value of animal protein, but it also provides you with other nutrients that are as important. So definitely it is very important to have a balance between the animal and the plant sources. Now, with plant sources, you are getting a lot of fiber, and you're definitely getting a lot of other nutrients like vitamins and minerals. And with plant sources, you can really go with an abundant amount of plant sources. So all these leafy green vegetables, they definitely contain a lot of protein in them. Things like nuts and seeds, they contain an ideal amount of protein. So almonds and walnuts and peanuts, they have a decent amount of protein that you can always get in your diet. And the same thing goes with legumes. So we tend to forget that things like chickpeas and hummus and fool and even falafel, these things that are made from legumes, including lentils, are really very rich in protein, and they contain a decent amount of protein in your diet. So it's really very important for you to mix the plant and the animal sources in your diet to get a balance between the amino acids. And your body does a very good job at balancing them out, but it's just really very important that you do include an animal source. And if you don't, then you will probably be lacking in a lot of amino acids. The good news is that there are new plant-based proteins that are being discovered or brought out that we're seeing they have the 9 essential amino acids. And the main two ones right now are the quinoa and the edamame. So if you are someone that is strictly a vegetarian, you can make sure you include quinoa in your diet as opposed to brown rice, and this will give you a decent amount of complete proteins. And same thing goes with edamame. Now, it is a vegetarian soy protein product, but it definitely does contain all the 9 essential amino acids for you. So if you are someone that is really adamant about sticking to their vegetarian diet, maybe this is something that you can include to make sure you are getting the essential proteins. Of course, adding cheeses and dairy to your diet will also help boost that essential amino acids in your diet. So like we said, it's really important for you to have a great balance between the two. Make sure you always have both because they both have great benefits and they really help one another. Now we hope you guys enjoyed today's episode and we'll see you all next time.